So wow, what a series this has been. Um, the, the I mean, if you think about one thing, without uh, I mean, this series been a good series. It has been a good series, but the Oilers, the two wins that they have had, they had to come from behind in both. And honestly, if the Florida Panthers knew how to hold a lead in Game 4, we'd have seen the Stanley Cup tonight. Because the Panthers would have skated the Stanley Cup tonight. They have, and I wanted to look at this series so far through the 5 games, because this is this is craziness here. I mean, game one, the Oilers actually scored first here. The Oilers scored first here, got the lead, but then they gave up 3 unanswered goals. Florida led 3-1 through a good majority of the second period. It went to overtime because the Panthers, they couldn't figure out how to hold a lead. And the Oilers ended up winning in overtime 4-3. So, okay. Now, game 2 was a little more back and forth. There wasn't any real big leads. There weren't, like multi-goal leads by either team there. And the Panthers, they get a lead, they get a 1-goal lead. And game 2, this is the game Corey Perry scores with 18 seconds left to force overtime. So it's like, okay, and then we end up going to double overtime, and Brad Marchand, the rat as they call him, ends up being the hero in that double overtime to tie the series. Then we go to game 3, and game 3 is just a complete, tail kicking. I mean, the Florida Panthers just kicked the Oilers up and down the rink. It was ugly. It was ugly. Or as some people would call fugly. It was not a good game for the Oilers. The Oilers basically ran out of the building. We get to game 4. Now this is the big thing here. Game 4. The Panthers are doing to the Oilers after what they had done to the Oilers in game 3. They are running them out of the building. It is 3-0. The Edmonton Oilers, and this is why I say, especially if not for this game, for this game right here, the Panthers are skating the Stanley Cup tonight. The series would be over. The season would be over. Because they led 3-0 after the first period. Both of these games, both Oiler wins, they took overtime, and they had to overcome multi-goal deficits. So that is either, Edmonton really knowing how to turn it on, or Florida just casually sitting back, which you cannot do against any team, especially the Edmonton Oilers. You do not want to just sit back against them. And I mean, they led 3-0 after the first period. I thought, holy cow, they are running Edmonton's show again. And then the Oilers get one, and it gets the momentum going. Their momentum starts getting going, and when you roll the rock down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger, and the more they get faster, the more momentum. Edmonton, the momentum started going, and they couldn't be stopped. That second period, they score 3 unanswered in the second period. They get the lead 4-3 in the third. And then with 20 seconds to go, the Panthers tie it to force overtime. Now, I mean, that should have never gone to overtime. I mean, there's no excuse for losing a 3-goal lead like that. But they did. It went to overtime, and Edmonton tied the series. Edmonton ended up tying the series. Yeah, it might have been a little fluky little bounce off of the skate of Nico Mikkola and through the 5-hole of Bob, but they tied the series. And then we come into Game 5 here, and again, the Panthers, they go into Edmonton and they just run the show. They just run them over. It was, I mean, they get up 2-0. Again, another multi-goal lead, and they get up 2-0. Then they get up 3-0, and then the Oilers get a goal, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, could we see it happen again? Could we see the Panthers blow a 3-goal lead again? But then not that long after the Oilers get that goal, the Panthers did something that they should have done in Game 4. They got a goal immediately after. Not that long after, the Panthers get a 4th goal to get that 3-goal lead back. Then the Oilers go and they get a second goal. They get a little closer. Pickard gets pulled, and they pull Pickard, and I'm thinking the whole time, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Oilers could do this. Could they pull this out? Well, no, it didn't happen, but boy, they got close on a couple of occasions. They got real close to making that a 1-goal game on a couple of occasions, and I'm just like, like, holy cow, the Panthers are gonna it's possible they could blow this again. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, they could blow this. They could do that again, but they didn't. Fortunately, they got a little lucky, and Eetu Luostarinen from about 180 feet puts it into the empty net, win, and makes it 5-2. That's the final. The Florida Panthers are up 3-2, one win away from their second straight Stanley Cup, going back home. Now, a big thing here also to go along with the fact that both Oiler victories, they had to come back from multi-goal deficits, which, I mean, when you're chasing the game the whole time, it's hard to win. It's hard to win a game when you're chasing the game the whole time, and that's what the Oilers have basically been doing this entire series. They have been chasing the game. They've been chasing the Florida Panthers. The Panthers have, with the exception really of, Game 1 and Game 4 when the Oilers won in overtime, the Panthers have owned this series. The Panthers have been the better team. And some people would say, well, the Oilers still won games 1 and 4. Yeah, they had to overcome a 2-goal deficit and a 3-goal deficit in those games in order to win. And they both had to go to overtime to do it. So, if you think about it, especially with this one right here, the Panthers don't blow a 3-goal lead after the first period. We see the Stanley Cup tonight. The Cup gets skated, and the Florida Panthers are back-to-back champions. Now, goaltending is definitely going to be talked about, because you go with Stuart Skinner, who was looking good, but then he doesn't look great. He gives up 3 in the first period here in Game 4. They pull him. They bring in Calvin Pickard. Pickard played phenomenally the rest of the game. Gave the Oilers a chance to stay in the game, kept them in it, and basically was one of the main reasons why they ended up winning in overtime. He was fantastic. But then Game 5, they start Pickard, and you're gonna look at film, you're gonna look at stuff like that, and they the Panthers, they ate Calvin Pickard for lunch or dinner, whichever you prefer. They ate him up tonight. It was an absolute, it was an absolute butt kicking. And it just, I mean, what do you do? And now game 6, what do you do now? Do you go back to Skinner? Because again, that's going to be a main talking point in this series. Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner, Sergei Bobrovsky. Who's the goalie who makes $10 million a year? That would be the guy that wears this team. Not necessarily this jersey, which, by the way, can we please get this jersey to come back? Can we get this jersey to come back in a Fanatics Premium and Authentic Pro? I would love to see this jersey come back. This striping, this everything. I would love to see this particular jersey come back. Of course, with the palm tree and the stick there on the shoulder. This particular jersey, can we get this to come back, please, as a third? I personally would love it. So that's kind of my plea to the Florida Panthers. Please bring this back, please, because it would look fantastic. This is a great looking jersey. But who do you start? Who do the Oilers start in Game 6? I don't know if it matters. Because if the Florida Panthers play the way that they've played basically throughout this entire series, with the exception of here in Game 1 and here, they're winning the Stanley Cup on Tuesday night. I think. Now, will I be surprised if the Oilers force a Game 7? Absolutely not. I will not be surprised in the least if the Oilers force a Game 7. But do you really? I mean, home ice advantage in the Stanley Cup Finals is big. It's what a lot of teams want. You want a Game 7 in your building. However, the Florida Panthers have beaten the Oilers 2 out of 3 times in Edmonton. So the Panthers are not concerned if they have to go back to Edmonton. I don't think that worries them. I don't think they want to. You have a chance to skate the Stanley Cup again for a second straight year on your home rink. You do it. You get that job done. You get that job done if you're the Florida Panthers. And, again, who do the Oilers start? Do they start Pickard? I don't think they start Pickard. I think it's going to be Skinner again. But I wanted to look through here the goal total through 5 games. 23 goals for the Florida Panthers in 5 games. 23. I mean, that's crazy. 16 for the Oilers. So, I mean, neither goalie is really lighting it up. I mean, Bobrovsky's not, Bobrovsky's looked good when he's had to, but he's got some stinkers in here. I mean, he gave up 4 here. He gave up 4 here. He only gave up the 1 here, but he gave up 5 right here after being up 3-0. And so, I mean, Bob has had some, he's had a couple of shaky games in here, but obviously Skinner and Pickard have also. I mean, 3 goals, 5, 6, 4, 5. 23 total. 23 goals total for the Florida Panthers and 16 for the Oilers. That's a big, that's a big stat. And again, who do the Oilers go with? Do they stick with Pickard? I don't think so. I think they go back to Skinner. But again, I don't know if it matters. That crowd in Sunrise is going to be crazy on Tuesday. And yeah, it's entirely possible this series ends on Tuesday night, ends in 6. And it's entirely possible the Florida Panthers end up being back-to-back champions. But again, will it surprise me if the Edmonton Oilers find a way to force a Game 7, I will not be shocked if that happens. I will not. But what would shock me is the fact that for the Oilers to do that, they might have to overcome a multi-goal lead again by the Florida Panthers. I don't know. But, I mean, the two Oiler wins here, they trailed by 2 here. They trailed by 3 here. And if the Panthers get out to a start like that again in Game 6, man, I don't know. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not this series goes past next Tuesday. Because if it does go past next Tuesday, it's then that next Friday. That Game 7 would be back in Edmonton. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens Tuesday night. But I wanted to look at this through the 5 games so far and just show, Florida, with the exception of a couple of multi-goal blown leads here, this series would be over already. And the Florida Panthers have shown they've been the better team. They're clearly the better team. And it's right now it's not really even close. It's not even really close that it's without a doubt, this has been the series has been basically all Panthers. With the exception, obviously, of Game 1 and Game 4, where the Panthers just kind of let the Oilers back in. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Game 6 on Tuesday. Who wins? Do we get to see, is the Stanley Cup skated around in Sunrise again on Tuesday night? Or does it go back to Edmonton for Game 7? Let me know what you guys think. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think the Oilers have been in a lot of these games, or do you think the Panthers have basically, with the exception of a couple of moments here and there, the Panthers have been the better team? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Hit that like button. Only takes a second. Definitely helps out the channel. Subscribe also to the channel. That would be awesome. And make sure you tell your family and friends that would be awesome, because I would love to have everybody here be subscribed. And also share this video with everyone that you know, with friends, family, whoever. And hit that little notification bell that will notify you anytime future videos are uploaded. And yeah, so through 5 games, the Florida Panthers, to me, they've been the better team. The whole series, they've been the better team. And yeah, I think it's entirely possible we see the Stanley Cup on Tuesday. But again, will it surprise me if it goes back to Edmonton for Game 7? Won't surprise me in the least. What do you guys think happens? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I will see you guys later.